We are back once again with the number one virtue signaling idiot in the whole of Ireland. It is, of course, TD Paul Murphy, okay? Now, for those who don't know, he set out on a very great journey, I would say, to go and feed kids of this country, Gaza, and of course, to bring them aid, to bring them help. But the whole trip was stupid and insane because he failed. Okay, he completely failed. It would have been great to see some of these kids get aid, medical aid, and of course, cure them of their hunger, their starvation. They've been starved for 6 weeks, 3 months, something like that. But of course, Paul Murphy and all his might and all his team couldn't even get to Gaza, guys. They got kicked out and arrested before it happened. Today we have the full story. He actually pretty much live streamed every single bit of the way. So I'm going to react to every single video. It's pretty funny. This guy, and I don't use the word ever cringe, but he's kind of like the cringiest guy. He's the corniest guy I've ever seen on the internet, okay, especially on his profile. Now, right off the bat, the first thing I noticed when Paul Murphy was traveling to Gaza, he had to go past a bunch of different Muslim countries, of course, and he changed his flag in his bio from a trans flag to a Palestinian flag. Why didn't he have both of the flags beside each other? That's possible to do. Well, that's because they would have killed him possibly for that. They don't allow tattoos, they don't allow certain things in these countries, and he couldn't pontificate to the rest of the world about trans people. He doesn't even know what gender his kid is, his beautiful baby boy is. Okay, he says it's non-binary, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means, guys, okay? And he changed his flag in his bio. So he's a coward. When you do things that are hard under scrutiny, that's when you're a hero, okay? When you do things that are hard and there's no scrutiny, then it doesn't matter, guys. You're just neutral. But as soon as he had any sort of heat get on him, he turned into a coward because he thought that the authorities in Egypt that he got basically taken to prison would have seen his profile and they would have killed him, okay? Because the whole gay thing and stuff, the LGB, it's not allowed, okay? Plain and simple. So let's go to the first video, guys. This one is leaving Cairo for the first leg of their trip. So let's get it.
We're on the way out of Cairo, heading towards Rafah. It's not clear if we will be marching tomorrow or the day after. For now, certainly Egypt last night stopped detaining people like they were yesterday morning. People were able to get through, but there's a lot of people being questioned by police, stopped by police, things like that. So it's still not exactly clear whether they will try to prevent us marching or not. I've met up with a number of different people, Irish and others. In total, there's thousands of us here, all determined to do what we can to end the horrific blockade.
See, there you go. He's determined to end the blockade. I mean, complete virtue signaling. That is never going to happen. That's for massive countries to decide about the blockade, not one guy, Paul Murphy. This guy thinks he has some sort of pull, like he's Superman or something. Completely stupid.
Just brought 500,000 Palestinians to the verge of starvation, and to pressurize Western governments to stop their complicity in this genocide, and to act against it. So we're still moving in the right direction, still moving towards Rafah. Keep the pressure on the Western governments, keep all eyes on Palestine and what's happening in Gaza, and I'll keep people updated.
It's great to see that sort of motivation, but I've never seen him ever, not even once in my life, have I seen him as passionate about Irish issues and how the country of Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, is falling to the EU and these big corporate, companies, allowing crazy shit to happen in our streets. Now everyone hates each other. There's violence every day. There's attacks with knives every day. There's flipping no housing. I've never seen him passionate on any issues like that. He's more passionate about foreign countries than he is about his own place. Okay, So as soon as so this just goes from bad to worse. So as soon as he gets to Egypt, the Egyptian authorities take his passport, and they tell him to get on a bus. Okay, so they basically just fail at the first hurdle.
Okay, we've arrived at a location on the way to Rafah. Unfortunately, when we got here, our passports were immediately confiscated by the army, and everyone else who was here has had the same situation. There's a bus here which they tried to get people to go on. They refused to go on it because they think, I think correctly, that it would be used to deport them. We've heard news.
Dude, you guys are terrible. This guy making fun of Michael O'Connell, Satirical Soldier? Like, at least Satirical Soldier actually was in war zones, and like he fought overseas, and like, you know, he was in like real danger and stuff. This guy's a clown. This guy's trying to be altruistic, and he didn't help any Gazan or anyone in Palestine. Didn't help anybody. Shit, this is a shit show, lads.
About people being stopped in Cairo, had their passports taken off them, and now it seems their phones taken off them, probably detained, probably with a view to deporting them. So
okay, guys, so as this moves on, okay, here are the final seconds from Paul Murphy. His phone gets taken and his passport, and he gets kidnapped, where he didn't get kidnapped. They said the same thing about Greta Thunberg. Okay, Greta Thunberg, they just got intercepted because they don't want people going to that region, you know, because they don't want to show the world how bad it's gotten.
You cry, we will never let you down.
You want your telephone?
People think that the authorities, the flippin' Guardian stuff, are bad. Well, you guys should go to flippin' Africa, North Africa, see how non-corrupt the authorities are there. So this is, I actually feel bad because I've never laughed so hard at a video. So it says, we have lost all contact with Paul Murphy, and we are releasing this message in advance. So that he actually recorded this message in advance. So he knew that he was going to get taken by the Egyptian police, basically. But if he knew that already, why would he even plan that route, that trip? Like, so I don't really know what he was trying to do here. You know, pure virtue signaling, like I said.
if you're seeing this, it's because unfortunately I have been detained by the Egyptian authorities, like hundreds of others, and I'm unable to provide any updates. I'm recording this in advance to ask people to contact the Irish authorities, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and the Egyptian authorities to urge our immediate release and to allow us to do what we came to Egypt for, which is to participate in a peaceful global march to Gaza. We know that a genocide has been happening for the past 20 months. We know that all food aid, water, medical supplies has been blocked since March. We know that the people of Gaza are being starved. We wanted to march to Rafah to demand that the blockade be ended and the aid be allowed to enter. Please contact the Irish...
Like I said before, guys, you know, his sort of little march there isn't going to change anything. You know, this is for massive companies and people to be doing. It's not just like a few people marching, you know. So here we have a video about, again, he posted this on his Twitter account, from a news story, RT News, of course.
People before Prophet TD Paul Murphy has been detained in Egypt, along with a group of people travelling through the country to reach Rafah on a Gaza peace march. The party said Mr Murphy and the group had their passports confiscated by Egyptian authorities.
Palestine, free! Throughout this week, people from all over the world have been gathering in Egypt for the global march to Gaza. Organisers said people from 60 countries have come together. Demonstrators want to put pressure on Israel to...
So I understand, I understand as well the protest, which obviously, you know, has its roots in good, of course. You know, you don't want to see any country getting flipping bombed to the shit. You know, you don't want to see anything like that. It's horrendous what's happening there. But again, Paul Murphy just trying to be this sort of altruistic guy, sitting there, making videos, and then, you know, it's just ridiculous, guys. Okay, people before prophet. Okay. So then he puts up this one post. We were finally released last night at the airport. Please still have our phones. We are back in Cairo and we're meeting shortly. So basically they did zero. They did nothing, guys. Completely nothing. And then this was the last video he put up. I finally have a phone. Thanks to everybody for the support. Okay, let's see it.
I finally have a phone, so just wanted to quickly come on to update people. Firstly, thanks a million for all the support we had last night, people contacting the government, making noise and putting pressure on. Hopefully that did contribute to us being released. Thankfully all the Irish participants in the global march to Gaza have now been released. That's not the case for everybody. Some were subject, some of the thousands of others were subject to significant violence by the police. I witnessed some of it myself, and some people are still detained. Our focus remains on calling for an end to the blockade of Gaza and the forced starvation of the people in Gaza. 500,000 people on the verge of death now, due to Israel not allowing in basically any food, water or medical supplies since March, and in the last couple of weeks allowing in a tiny trickle to be used as a weapon of war, to pursue ethnic cleansing, to move people out of certain areas, and then to kill them whenever they're queuing for the aid. Disgusting, outrageous behaviour. We see what they've done in terms of the terrorist attack on Iran, and yet they have the support of the EU Commissioner, they have the support of the US. We're continuing on our mission. We had a meeting there about the next steps, and just urge everybody to rise up for Palestine, rise up against the terrorist state of Israel globally. Thanks.
So yeah, that was literally the worst thing. Like, I don't know, did he get any sort of, you know, clout for that or any sort of love for that? He did nothing, guys. So anyone that thinks that he's doing it for a great cause, the cause is good, guys, but the flipping his trip there was just completely stupid. So one person, Paula London, rightly pointed out, why did you delete the trans flag from your profile? Yeah, kind of interesting, because, you know, obviously they don't like that kind of thing. So here we have a video, guys, and it's interesting. Okay, so finally America has been actually come to Ireland's support, and we love to see that, guys. Okay, so Ireland's given 2 months to begin implementing hate speech laws or face legal action from the EU. Okay, so we all know that news story that I reported on a few weeks ago, but listen to this, guys. It's great to see this. Okay, so hold up a second, and I left a comment as well. Okay, this is the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor in the US, okay, which is cool to see. Okay, it says the European Union is threatening legal action against Ireland if it does not adopt the speech rules designed by bureaucrats in Brussels. Okay, even after the Irish government dropped such legislation last year due to lack of democratic consensus. The United States is deeply committed to supporting freedom of expression and national sovereignty. We support the Irish people and the shared commitment of fundamental freedoms. I love to see that. America, we love the US because, you know, they're like the last bastion of hope, you know, to be perfectly honest, guys. And the EU are threatening us, and I said we need patriotic Americans to help us here in Ireland, okay, to free us from the oppression of the woke EU and lefties. And I stand by that, guys. You know, absolutely 100% positively. You know, people don't understand that we definitely need help from the US because they're a very powerful country. You know, they back freedom, at least on a scale like this, somewhat, okay, somewhat. You know, I don't agree with everything that they do, of course, the last story. But at the same time, guys, like this sort of, you know, hate speech legislation, this kind of shit is just horrendous, guys, and it shouldn't be taking place. And hopefully the US and the departments over there can actually help block that shit that the EU is trying to bring in. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. If you guys want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video and become a member for just the price of €3 per month. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.